welcome to today's video. I'm going to be cash stuffing about $700 across a few of my binders, and in this video I'm going to be working with probably a lot of 1s and 5s because if you saw my last cash condensing video, I tried to put in some higher denominations in my binders, and I was actually going to go and take this into the bank and get some higher bills, but life just kind of got in the way. You know how it goes. You're busy, you're working, if you're a parent, you've got the little ones you have to look after. So I wasn't able to do that. So this money will ultimately be going back in the binders for now until maybe at a later date I will do another cash condensing video. Now, to start, I'm going to be putting in some money that I had borrowed against myself. So these are my IOUs. And the first one that I'm going to be putting back is going to be $625 that I borrowed for my car payment. Last month, we ran into some car trouble. So we had to use some of our paycheck to kind of pay for some vehicle repairs, and we're playing a little bit of catch up. So I borrowed against myself to kind of see us through and make sure that the car payment was made on time. It's not an issue. Luckily, the money will be, it's coming back into that binder now. And it's a great feeling to know that I do have the funds there, that if I need to borrow against it, I'm doing so at 0% interest versus having a credit card where, I could pay it off as soon as I got the bill in. But right now, with my credit being the way that it is, I don't have any credit cards. I'm just going to go ahead and borrow against myself whenever I need to at a 0% interest rate. And I think once I get my bills under control, if I ever need to borrow, I think what I'm going to do is start incorporating a little bit of an interest rate, just to put funds back and, kind of give a little bit more of a cushion. So I think that's a great idea for me, at least. I would be very interested to hear what you all probably think about that. Now moving on into my savings challenge binder, I had borrowed from, I think 2 or 3 different envelopes. So in this one, in my 12-week challenge, I had borrowed $40. So I'm going to be putting that $40 back into this one. Going forward, I'm also going to start using a tablet to kind of track my savings and my savings challenges. This tablet used to belong to my daughter, and we recently updated hers so she has a larger tablet, which is easier for her eyes. This one I took for myself, and I was curious to see if there were any apps in the Google Play Store that I can probably use to track my items a lot easier than having to rely on paper. And I was highly surprised. There were a few apps, and there were 2 that I fell in love with right away. They're very easy, very straightforward. There's not a lot you have to do. It's very simplistic for tracking, and I highly, highly, highly recommend them. I will go ahead and link those in my description below, so that way if it's something that you're interested in and you do have an Android tablet or phone, I think you all would really, really find it so super useful. And for my $200 savings challenge, I'm going to go ahead and put in $10 that I had borrowed from this envelope. And if you see on the right, I'm just kind of scrolling through. I organized these in my app literally verbatim, according to how the binders are kind of set up. So any challenge with this purple kind of money bag, this is pertaining to my binder of my lower denomination savings challenges, and the icon that has kind of the green money bag, that one is for my higher denomination savings challenges. And I have them listed literally in order of the way each binder is kind of laid out. So it's very easy to kind of just go in and track. And I think with this app that I'm using here, I think it does have a feature where once I've completed, a challenge or I've reached my goal, it will automatically archive it for me. And it's great because then I can kind of keep up at the end of the year and see just how much I've saved overall. And this challenge right here, I'm going to be putting back $20 that I had borrowed against this one. And that should complete my IOUs for this pay period. I do still have one outstanding IOU that I had borrowed against to pay for my cell phone bill. I was hoping to kind of get that paid back to myself sooner. But with the car repair that's needed, it's been a lot of little things that have been coming up. I'm telling you, when it rains, it pours, and it's just like everything kind of happens at the very same time. We just had so many little expenses popping up, and most recently we also had our car insurance payment. That was a whole debacle. Apparently we weren't being charged correctly, and we ended up getting double billed one month, and our insurance was just about ready to lapse. So luckily what I was going to actually put back in that IOU, it went directly back into paying towards the car insurance. It was great that I had it. But it was a little bit kind of frustrating that I wasn't able to put it back like I wanted to. But you know what? Thankfully, it was there and I did have it and was able to use it. So that's a blessing. Coming back to my long-term savings binder, this is where I keep my envelopes for my emergency funds. If you're new here, you'll find that I have 5 different emergency fund envelopes, and they range from $2,000 all the way down to $300. The reason why I do that is because for me, I would like to have an envelope where I can have a few different amounts. So if, let's say in the instance where I had to borrow for my cell phone payment, I took out $360, I would borrow against the envelope that has up to $500. If an emergency came up where something was $100 or $200, I would go into my $300 emergency fund envelope and I would pull from there. And I am not sure why, but this is just what works for me. This is something that I like. Some folks, they like pulling all of their emergency funds into one, and that's totally fine. I just like everything in various buckets. So I have a lot of different buckets, very many buckets, especially for my emergency fund. I have 5 buckets for that. And I would like to know, am I the only person who does that? Is there anyone else out there who actually has a few different envelopes for their emergency funds that they pull from? Or is the rest of the general cash stuffing and saving community just keeping one general envelope and kind of putting all of their emergency funds into that one space? And my $1,500 emergency fund, this pay period, I'm going to be including $95 into this one. And these funds are my main priorities at the moment. These are the ones that I am trying to fill first and fill the fastest. So everything that I am putting into my savings challenges will ultimately end up going into these envelopes first, because I really, really want these to be set and fully funded. I'm hoping to get that done within the next, probably by the end of summer. I would really like to see these done and completed, so that way I can start moving along into my other long-term savings envelopes and going into another different binder that I have yet to start stuffing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, no huge emergencies come up, nothing bad happens, and I can make that happen by the end of summer. In a future video, I would really like to go ahead and show you all these apps. I'm not sure how I can kind of get that on the screen. I may have to zoom in quite a bit so you guys can get a really good look at what these apps look like and how I use them. But I do love also that these, for each and every savings goal that I do have tied to in here, it will kind of break it down for me. It'll give me the option to go ahead and place kind of like a timeline for when I would want to see those completed, and it'll even show me a breakdown of how much I would need to be saving on a daily, I think a weekly, and a monthly basis to meet that goal. So that's great. It takes all of that guesswork out of it for you, and you don't have to worry about doing the math on your own. If you're like me, your math usually is not mathing. I am working on that right now. I did actually start working on a different app to build my math skills, and I've already started kind of seeing some improvement, which is really wonderful. But if you're like me, I love this app for that reason. It's very intuitive, and it takes a lot of the hard work out of it for you. This pay period, my $500 emergency fund is going to be getting $30, and it is really making me happy to see this fund growing beautifully fast. I think this one is going to be fully funded very soon, and I am looking forward to being able to put in a fully funded placeholder in there and seeing the accomplishment that comes with saving regularly and getting these taken care of as fast as I possibly can. Okay, so this is where things got a bit dicey for me. I am going forward, have to revamp the way that I list out my cash breakdown, because apparently I had listed a specific amount to save in my $300 emergency fund for this pay period. But when I went to write down what denominations I needed, I realized after a little bit of time that I never wrote it down. I left that whole line blank. So when I made my withdrawal, I didn't include the amount that I was going to save for this pay period in this envelope. So I had to kind of go back and forth a little bit just to make sure that I was looking at it right. And this was the moment where I was like, you know what, I really need to get this written down a whole lot better. And I do have an idea for the future on what I'm going to do. So I just was like, you know what, let's just keep moving along. I was like, let's just go on to the next envelope, and that was going to be my pet envelope for that weekly savings. This pay period, the pet envelope is going to be getting $20, and this is for the vet bills. I'm thinking I will probably have to triple this amount because we have 3 cats. My cat is Sherbert. My daughter has her cat Cutie, and we have a third house cat named, well, he has a variety of names because he's actually deaf. So he can't respond to anything you tell him. You physically have to wave your hands and get his attention, or he needs to feel vibrations if you're walking or kind of like tapping something, because obviously being deaf, he can't hear anything. So, and with him, our littlest Chloe, the deaf one, he's extremely rambunctious, so he's going to cost us quite a bit in vet bills at some point in the future. I can feel it in my bones. Moving on into my high priority sinking funds, this pay period, we're going to be adding $20 to this one. I'm hoping to have this envelope fully funded by late summer, early fall, because with these funds, I am going to be using those to kind of bulk up my pantry stores for the winter time. And it's not because I necessarily do need it, because I really don't. I'm in a big city, but I just like to have certain items on hand so I don't have to go out very often. And, with the pandemic, that threw me for a loop. I was never expecting that. And just learning from that when those store shelves were completely empty and really not having anything at home, I think just keeping certain items that I would utilize on a daily or weekly basis, are just things I should just keep in stock at all times. Let's go ahead and add in $25 this pay period for fuel. This is just extra money to have on hand. Fuel prices, I remember back in the day when fuel was like $2.35 tops, and you can fill up your whole gas tank with like $15-$20. And I do have a newer car. Luckily, it has excellent gas mileage, so luckily for me, I don't have to put too much gas in it, and it'll last me forever. I try and coast as much as I possibly can to just save on gas where I'm able to, but I just think this is something, just always have if we're taking a family trip or we're going to go somewhere really far, or we're in between pay periods and something should happen and we're a little bit low on funds. I can just dip into this envelope and just take from there. My household inventory envelope will be getting $10 this week. We're going to be putting in total $250. This is just also if anything's ever needed for the home, and it's more probably for cleaning items and things of that sort, like toilet paper, things that I would probably buy in bulk at Costco to save a little bit of money. This is an envelope that I just like to have a little extra on hand because sometimes I might find that I need something before I get to the store during the next pay period, and I could just kind of dip from this envelope and just pick up a few items that I need here and there. The final binder that we're moving into is my low savings challenges, and we are going to be stuffing a few of these envelopes this week. I wasn't sure if I was going to really have much to stuff with, but I'm trying to keep a steady and consistent bi-weekly deposit for these envelopes because I really want to get them completed. Again, all of the funds that I collect and accrue from these are going to go into, first of all, my emergency funds, and then from there into the other long-term savings, and we're going to move on down into the high priority and the low priority sinking funds once those are all taken care of. Okay, fast forward because I ended up counting this out a few times. I didn't realize that until I was editing the video that I'm not sure what was going on. I think I was just mentally tired at this point. Usually I'm tackling these once I've been busy for the day and doing other work, so my brain tends to get a little foggy and exhausted at this point in time, and the kids are going to be on their way home pretty soon, so I'm just trying to get through it and I don't realize what's happening and I just go on this autopilot. So I wanted to save you all from all of that and not have to see me counting it out like 4 times. My mini challenge is going to get $4 this week, and a variety of these challenges are also going to get $4. I just had so many singles and I was like, how can I best use these and put these away? So I was like, each and every challenge that has a $4 marker, let's just run with it and let's just put in $4 as we go. And as I go ahead and I mark these in my app, the great thing I also love is that each and every time that I kind of add in a deposit, I love that, and I know it's a bit difficult to kind of see in the video, and I'm hoping with time when I'm able to show you all, but the icon around the outline of it, it's actually kind of a progress bar. So as you continue making your deposits and you get a lot closer to reaching your goals, that progress bar, around the icon will actually continue to grow and grow and grow. And it's really nice to see that too. It's a really cute little feature. I really think the app developer did a kind of great job because it's so visual yet so simplistic. I'm a person who I kind of like simplicity quite a bit, and I kind of feel like this app kind of gives you a little bit of both things. You get a little simplicity, but it still looks really nice and it's very aesthetically pleasing. Pretty soon I would love to show you all my setup in my office. I have to kind of update it. I don't have a lot of space to work with, and space on my desk is pretty tight. This is an IKEA desk that I had purchased, and I'm finding that it's not as deep as traditional desks, so it's kind of like I don't have really room to put my keyboard when I need to use it, or when I want to use it in conjunction to when I'm doing my stuffings, or if I'm using my laptop, or if I'm opening up my planner. So I've been looking on Amazon. I've seen a really, really nice white desk that will span the whole length of my office. And my office at home is not very big. It's probably like a 5x7, but it should be able to span from side to side, and then it's a bit deeper. So I should be able to have some more room. Probably also thinking about putting my monitors up on, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a monitor riser. So that way maybe I can get a little more space and kind of tuck certain things underneath it. So hopefully in the next, month or two, maybe I can get the ball rolling on that and just kind of show what my setup kind of looks like and give you guys an update on that. Are you all using a designated place to do your cash stuffing? Are you kind of using like an in-home office? Are you using maybe your kitchen island or dining room table? I'm really curious to know, if you have a designated spot, how you kind of have it set up. Where do you have it tucked away? And, do you kind of lay it all out and to kind of decorate it? I live for decorating and making things look kind of cutesy. Hopefully I don't go a little too overboard with the decor and make it kind of look cluttered. But, I just really love just seeing a variety of folks and seeing what they have. I love the differences that we all have. I like noticing the similarities that we kind of keep along the lines too. So go ahead and in the comments, if anyone's watching, maybe just kind of describe what your setup looks like. I have a few more envelopes to stuff for this video, so let's go ahead and let's speed it up a little bit. If you've made it this far, thank you so very much for sticking with me. If you all think maybe these videos are a bit too long, maybe they should kind of be broken up between a video for my long-term and short-term savings goals and then maybe a video for my savings challenges, go ahead and let me know in the comments as well. Maybe I should just kind of break these up so they aren't super duper long. I'm not sure, if this is just a little too much. Maybe I can just kind of break it down into more easily digestible videos. As we near the end of this week's video, I think for next time we're going to go ahead and we're going to close out some of the savings challenges that I'll have completed, at least in this low savings challenge binder. I think there's about maybe 2 or 3 that are going to be ready to go ahead and close out and move into my long-term emergency funds. So that'll be coming up next. The remaining funds that I have in my cash tray, I'm just going to go ahead and separate that out, and I'm going to allot what's left over for my groceries, my gas for my car, parking in downtown, and the allowance that I give my son on a weekly basis. So again, thank you all so much for joining me in today's video. I appreciate you all. For those of you that have watched, thank you so very much. It's so greatly appreciated. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.